Okay, so now we're coming to the floor sequence, the seated and floor work, coming towards the end of the practice. And we're taking a few moments just to be nice and still, just coming back to the breath, becoming aware once again of the soft, natural breath, the rise and fall of the chest and the belly as we breathe. Aware of the contact of the sit bones and the floor. And if you feel like it, if it feels natural for you, then we can just introduce and welcome a soft, gentle folding forwards. So trying to avoid the kind of pulling the body down with the arms, rather moving from the belly. So just allowing the upper body to fall forward softly, the fingertips pressing gently against the mat. And we can really use the breath. So every inhale is kind of drawing upwards, feeling that lengthening and that extension through the spine, the belly. And as you exhale, that gentle softening, just allowing the upper body to relax. Fold forwards as a slight bend in the knees and the feet are flexed. I'm going to draw the left leg in, resting the foot on the inside of the right leg, and the right leg is lengthened out to the side, foot flexed. Hands resting on either side of the extended leg. And just taking a few rounds, just to softly draw the belly down towards the thigh, and then drawing back again. It's a really natural, rhythmic movement. There's no strain, just this gentle rhythm of slowly drawing the belly towards the thigh and then drawing back again. And we're just going to repeat this a number of times, and when that flow feels very natural for you, when there's no real thought or effort required, then just welcoming and inviting an exploration of this movement. How do you want to move? What feels comfortable for you? What feels right for you? You may want to stay upright. You may want to stretch out to the other side, lengthening the arms, stretching sideways, rotations. Just really starting to explore how your body wants to move in this position. There's a sense of freedom, permission, fluidity. And stay here as long as you need, but when it feels like that movement, that need has been met, then just mindfully and slowly swapping sides, extending the opposite leg, resting the other foot on the inside of the thigh. I always like to take a bit of time just to reconnect and re-engage with that rhythm. So taking the time, taking a few moments just to repeat that motion. The belly drawing towards the thigh and then drawing back again. Starting to feel that natural rhythm. And once it feels completely natural for you, no effort, then just allowing the body to kind of take over. No need to think. Just exploring and feeling your way into it. And just seeing how the body wants to move. Where do you want to rest the hands? Is there rotation, lengthening, movement, stillness? Just really giving your body that permission to explore, to experience. Still aware of the breath, still aware of the sensations in the body and that connection with the earth. You finish just slowly drawing back to center, and we're just going to bring the feet together in Baddha Konasana. But for the first part of Baddha Konasana, the legs are quite long. So it's kind of a gentle, soft opening through the hips, The feet are just softly resting together, palms resting softly on the legs. And if you like, on the exhale, that soft, gentle folding forwards. Once again, seeing if the movement can come from the belly. Sorry, excuse Gerard interrupting the video. Kind of gentle folding forwards. See if you can avoid pulling the body down with the hands. So quite often there can be a sense of forcing the body into this position, and rather taking this time just to be present with how your body feels in this position. And then we slowly draw the feet a few inches inwards and just hold a few breaths upright, feeling that lengthening through the spine. It can help to really focus on the inhale. So as you inhale, feeling that subtle lengthening through the spine, a kind of heightening on the inhale. And as you exhale, we maintain that height and that integrity, but there is a softening through the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders, the pelvis. We can again slowly fold forwards if it feels comfortable for you. Notice that there is no pulling. I'm not using my arms or my hands to pull the body down. They're simply resting. Any forward fold is coming from the belly, so nice big inhale and then exhale, just slowly drawing the belly down. I'm not forcing anything here, just allowing my body to rest in Baddha Konasana. And for the final parts of Baddha Konasana, we bring the feet in even closer. I like to bring my hands behind at this point, so just to give myself a bit of support. Fingertips resting on the mat behind, really kind of helping to maintain that integrity, that heightening and lengthening through the spine. And then bringing the hands forwards, and once again just folding forwards. My hips are quite restricted at the moment, and really respecting and honouring that. So there is no forcing anything. I'm not trying to pull the body down. Even just a subtle centimetre or two forwards, you really feel that kind of gentle moving into the edges, really meeting the edges there and being very respectful and kind to the body. Just hold there as long as you need. And when you're ready, releasing the legs. I have a belt for this next posture. If you have a belt ready, then use that. Otherwise, you can use a scarf or a towel or anything, just so you can wrap it around the foot, starting with the right leg, but it can be either. And so the base leg is bent, helping with stability, and we're lengthening the right leg up, foot is flexed, and there's a gentle pressure pushing into the belt. Just feeling that lovely kind of stretch through the hamstring. And if that feels comfortable, then you can slowly lengthen the base leg. Just slowly deepens the stretch. Holding here for a few breaths. And for the next posture, we draw the base leg up, and we're bending at the knee and just going to cradle it in the hand. And then just slowly allowing the lengthened leg, the extended leg, just to fall outwards to the side. It's helping just a really kind of lovely opening and stretch into the groin. And once again, I'm not forcing or pushing anything. The belt is kind of a support. And the leg that's cradled is kind of like balancing. So the hips are level. And just allowing that extended leg to fall open to where it wants to go. And then slowly drawing back to center. Crossing the left leg over, flexing both feet. And really using the belt here, so placing a bit of pressure into the belt through both feet. So it's a really lovely way of engaging into the hips here. And then slowly releasing and swapping the sides. And if you're doing this video at home, then if you want to pause and hold these postures for longer, then by all means do. You can always pause the video and just take a bit more time. For any of these postures, if it feels like there's an exploration that needs to happen, or you're really tapping into something that wants to be explored more deeply, then just pause the video and take your time, and then you can always come back. So for the second part, we're just cradling the opposite leg and allowing the other leg to just lengthen outwards to the sides, feeling that really lovely stretch into the groin. It's a very kind of supported stretch. There's no strain or forcing or any kind of focus on the finished movement, rather just experiencing that sensation. Crossing the leg over, flexing both feet, and then just feeling that pressure into the belt. It's a really beautiful posture for the outer hip. So again, these movements were learned at the Spinal Integration course with Donna Fari. I'm going to bring the hands behind the head, the knees are bent, feet flat. I'm going to do really gentle somatic movements to help the core and the spine. So to talk you through this, because it's hard to see, but I've tilted the pelvis down, creating an exaggerated arch to the lower back. And then I'm lengthening through the spine and drawing the elbows up off the floor, and then releasing. Arching through the lower back, really engaging all of the back muscles, and then slowly releasing the back muscles, lengthening through the spine, the small of the back pressing into the floor, engaging the core muscles, drawing the shoulders up, and then releasing, and taking a breath in between, just to feel the neutral position of the spine. So what we're doing here is engaging, switching on and off the back muscles and the core muscles. So the lower back arches, we're really engaging through the back muscles, then releasing, switching them off. As the back flattens against the floor and we scoop the head off the mat, we're really engaging the core muscles and then releasing. As many times as you need. And now I've got this little inflatable ball. It's like a Pilates ball. And just very, very, very softly inflated, placing it under the small of the back. If you don't have one, that's fine. If you do, then use it. It helps to add an extra dimension to the practice. So legs are bent, and then just gently tapping one foot down towards the floor and then the other one. And if you have the little inflatable ball in the lower back, then just adding another layer, so the instability created forces the body to work in a different way, different muscles to activate. It can be very, very powerful and very, very subtle. If you don't have the ball, then that's fine. You still do these movements and still feel a benefit from it. We lengthen the legs, and then there's kind of a scooping action, doing around 7 to 10 rounds each leg. Lengthen legs, scooping back up. The arms are still straight, parallel. If you've got the inflatable ball under the lower back, then you might be feeling a little bit wobbly. So just noticing that there's a lot of work happening that isn't necessarily seen. This may look a lot easier than it feels. If you don't have one and you want to get one, then I think they're available at yoga matters. And I know a number of my students have them, so make use of them in their practice regularly. It's very good for improving strength in the back and the core muscles. I'm going to extend the arm and opposite leg, bringing back to center, and then swapping sides, lengthening through the leg and the opposite arm, back to center, swapping sides. Nice, calm, steady movement. So if you find yourself moving quickly through this, just see if you can slow it down. Really aware of every movement. Nice and slow and steady. doing 7 to 10 rounds on each side. And if at any time you need a break, you can always hug the knees into the chest. A bit of a release. Circling the knees, releasing any tension that you might be feeling in the lower back. Then we're just going to rock back up to seated. So clasping the back of the thighs, enjoying the rocking motion, the massage through the spine. Come over onto all fours, push back into downward facing dog. On the inhale, we're going to bring the left leg forwards, bending at the knee, tucking the foot in, into pigeon. So just making sure that the knee is slightly wider than the hip and the foot is pointed. And then just taking a bit of time, I like to feel a bit of spaciousness and height at first, just to make sure the hips are level. And then coming down onto the forearms. Taking a few breaths here. Sometimes it can be helpful to lengthen the back leg. So if there's space and it's accessible for you, you can shuffle the back foot back a little bit further. And when you're ready, coming up onto the hands, pushing back into downward facing dog, tiptoes, walk the dog. And when you're ready, we'll just do the same on the other side. Right leg coming forwards, left leg long. Taking a few breaths just to really feel that height and spaciousness. Making sure the hips are level. And when it feels comfortable for you, coming down onto forearms. Just taking a few moments here. Pushing back into downward facing dog, onto tiptoes, coming down onto the front. I'm going to move into a really gentle back sequence. I'm just checking that I'm still in view. I'll talk through this because it can be hard to see what's happening because the movements are quite subtle. So we're going to bend the left leg, bending at the knee. The foot is flat, and then we're just kind of lifting the thigh off the floor slightly, so the base of the foot is meeting the ceiling, and there's just a kind of subtle hovering, so just lifting the thigh off the floor a few centimeters, a few inches, and then slowly lowering back down. These movements may look subtle and ineffective, but they're incredibly effective and powerful. So now we're swapping sides. The right leg is bending at the knee, foot is flexed. We're just going to lift the thigh off the floor, base of the foot going up towards the ceiling. Very subtle movement, just a few centimeters, a few inches off the mat, and then back down again. So it'll be a little bit of pressure of the thigh into the mat and then lifting. After 3 rounds on that side, and then lengthen both legs. And now we're going to do kind of like a freestyle kick, so straight leg raising and then the other leg, swapping sides. Then flexing through the feet, and the tips of toes are brushing against the floor as we sweep the feet out to one side and then slowly bring them back together again. So the toes just gently brushing against the floor. Now we point the toes and create figure 8s. Once again, this may look really easy, but it's surprisingly difficult. Now feeling the whole of the front of the body wriggling out through the pelvis, Now we're going to lengthen the arms out in front. I describe it as like hugging a big bear. So there's a slight bend through the arms. The thumbs are facing upwards, and we draw the arms, the upper body off the mat, hover, and then micro movements. So do about 3 micro movements and then lower back down again. And then once more, drawing the upper body off the mat, hovering, and then 3 micro movements with the thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling. Sorry, it's not so clear in the video. And then slowly lower back down. Take a nice deep inhale, exhale, sigh. And if you want, you can add this little extra pose in at the end. So just drawing the feet behind into bow, holding the tops of the feet, pushing the tops of the feet into the hands, lifting the chest off the mat, and just really beautiful stretch to the front of the body. I find this particularly helpful for the front of the thighs, particularly if you've been doing running or cycling or anything like that. It can be very, very helpful. Just hold this for as many breaths as feels comfortable for you, or as many rounds as you need. And when you're ready, just pushing back to all fours into child's pose. And we're just going to finish the practice with a couple of back bends from the moon sequence, slowly drawing up through the thighs, hands to waist, and really drawing forwards with the thighs, so almost like imagining that you're pressing the front of your body against a wall. So the belly, the thighs are pressing against the imaginary wall, and there's a lifting through the abdomen, and then that opening up through the chest, so just softly peeling the chest away from the wall, and then back again, coming back down to kneeling, taking a breath in child's pose, still aware of the natural breath, the rise and fall of the chest and the belly, drawing up through the thighs. Going to tuck the toes under, going to camel, dropping the fingertips back, resting on the heels. And you can use the fingertips, the pressure on the heels, to really draw forwards. And once again, imagining that your thighs and your belly are pressing against a wall. And really feel that engagement, opening through the chest. The head is only dropping back if the neck feels soft and relaxed. Slowly drawing back upright. Releasing back down. And lowering down into child's pose, and just taking a few breaths here. Now we're moving into the closing sequence now. I have a very, very, very simple closing sequence. It's been a very gentle practice. If at this point you have a sequence of your own that you like to explore, then by all means do so. I like to come back into the squat. I can't get my heels down on the floor, so you can either, if you have the same issue as me, you can either roll up a blanket and place it under the heels for support, or just stay on the toes. Bringing the hands together in front of you into prayer. There's a slight pressure of drawing out from the elbows into the thighs, and the thighs pushing into the elbows. Feels really nice and releasing through the lower back. And I'm not collapsing into this posture, so there's still an engagement through the core, still a sense of spaciousness and integrity. And then slowly coming back down to the floor. With bent knees, just drawing the legs up for the final posture, just a really lovely stretch of the hamstrings. Either fingertips resting softly behind the thighs or the calves, or holding onto the toes. For those of you that are comfortable with shoulder stand and want to incorporate that into the practice, and this is a good time to do it. If I do shoulder stand now, I make sure that I have a blanket rolled up underneath my neck. Otherwise, I'm quite happy just with these gentle postures. Slowly bringing the feet back down, lengthening the legs out, Taking a really nice deep inhale. Exhale, sigh. And just feeling the weight of the body lying on the floor. If you need any blankets or cushions or anything to make yourselves more comfortable, then do so. It's an opportunity for you to fully rest, to be comfortable, safe, nurtured, cozy, warm, comfortable. Take as many sighs as you need. Adjusting the body if you need. Just make yourself even 3% more comfortable than you already are. And just become aware of the weight of the whole of your body lying on the floor. The weight of your heels, the weight of your calves, your thighs, your back, your arms, your hands, your head. The weight of the whole of the body lying on the floor. With every inhale, there's a sense of awareness flooding through the whole of the body. And as you exhale, a softening, relaxing, and dropping deeper and deeper into relaxation and rest. A rest that you deserve. Every exhale sinking deeper and deeper into the earth. Sinking deeper and deeper into the loving arms of the earth beneath you. When you're ready, just starting to wriggle the fingers and the toes, circling through the wrists, the ankles. It's beginning to stir, stretching, sighing, yawning, anything you need just to really bring yourself back into the room. Feeling all the movements through the body, that kind of awakening through the body, drawing your knees in towards your chest, rocking from side to side. And when you're ready, just rolling over to the right hand side, just staying here for a moment or two. Feeling warm, safe, secure. You're ready, just coming back up to seated. Taking a few deep breaths, bringing the hands together in front of the heart space. offering gratitude to this time, this space, this beautiful practice. May all beings be happy. Thank you.